your astrology forecast for January 2016. Thank you for joining me. A couple of things going on for you this month, first month of 2016. I hope you're excited for the new year. You've got the midheaven, the Sun, Pluto and Mercury all sitting in your 10th house of career in Capricorn. Now, the Sun represents your identity, and Pluto is an indicator of change, and in mythology it's known as Hades, so the ruler of the underworld. It's death and rebirth, it's the phoenix rising from the ashes. What you'll notice going into this year very strongly is that there's a different perspective, or there's a different sense of identity when it comes to your work. So for instance, if you've always felt very, very much aligned with the work you're doing, you may start to question it a little bit. Or if you've not felt like your work kind of embodies you and who you are as a person, then that will flare up as well, and it will urge you to look at it again. So the Sun represents your identity. In Capricorn, your identity is focused, totally focused on work and your ambition and your drive and where you're going. Pluto in Capricorn will really kind of pull the energy, the existing energy that's in place, away from that Capricorn energy. So those two planets are in a relationship with each other. They move closer and closer as January progresses. They're both at 15 degrees on the 6th of January, and then that's when this will feel strongest. And then they move away from each other, and the relationship ends on the 17th of January. Okay, so this is not necessarily a bad thing. It just means you kind of step back from your work a little bit and you really examine whether this is right for you or not. And that's a good thing. If you're doing work that really corresponds with who you are, you'll excel at that work. If you're not doing something that corresponds with who you are, then you'll be struggling more than you actually need to. So if you're someone who has no aptitude for children or for talking to groups of people, then you have no business being a teacher. You know, if you're really not interested in financial services or money, then why be a telemarketer selling credit cards? You know, it's important that you choose work that's aligned with who you are, because you'll succeed, but also it's for the other people who come into contact with you. You know, people want to work with people who enjoy their jobs, who know what they're doing, and who feel energized in the jobs that they do. On the 2nd of February, January, on the 2nd of January 2016, Mercury goes into Aquarius in your 11th house. Mercury is communication, and Aquarius is about innovation and bringing new things in. Now, because that's in your 11th house, the innovations that you'll be getting are really about your work, and you'll really be thinking about, is this aligned with my hopes and dreams, and am I doing what I'm meant to be doing? On the 3rd of January, there's a T-square in the chart, which is an area of real friction and energy, and that's between your ascendant, so your rising sign, Mars and the Moon in your 7th house, and then that culminates and peaks with that Mercury that I've just mentioned. So the ascendant, the rising sign, is in your sign of Aries. You're going to feel very much yourself, and I think the time of year works well for you as well. You're the first sign of spring. You're about getting things started. According to the calendar that we work with, January is the first month of the new year, so the new beginnings, that will really work for you. You also have Uranus in your 1st house. Uranus is the rebel. It's doing things differently and uniquely to the way you think they should be done, and that's also in your sign of Aries. So you're going to feel really, really fired up. That opposes Mars then, and Mars is the red planet. That's struggling a little bit in Libra because it's trying to balance its forceful energy. And with all of that you've got going on in your 1st house, it's likely that you're going to barge over other people, and you're going to feel quite comfortable barging over other people to get to the truth of what you want to be doing at work. So on the 3rd, really be considerate, think about other people, what they may be going through, because you're going to be very much focused on realizing your own desires. Mars goes into Scorpio on the 4th of January, and that happens in your 8th house. The 8th house rules institutions and other people. Again, Mars is very forceful, but it's much more powerful in Scorpio, because Scorpio is a water sign. It's focused on getting to the truth of the matter, whereas Libra is kind of in two minds about things. So Mars gets his energy back, you're really going to be intense, and you're really going to be looking at the institution that you're in, and you may even criticize it, or you may feel unhappy, or you may feel the drive and the need to make changes to the institutions you occupy. Okay, so don't pick any battles that you can't win. You know, if you want to have a kind of good, holistic, positive month, don't take on Walmart and tell them to raise their minimum wage or whatever. So really look at things that you can affect a change in. If you do want to do something like that example I just mentioned, then do it, but be aware that it's going to be a long-term battle. You know, the important thing here is that the energy about you is that you want to take on this big thing, and you have a great sense of injustice going on and a little bit of irritability at the beginning of this month. Mercury goes retrograde on the 6th of January, and it stays in retrograde until the 25th. Mercury is the communication planet, so when that goes retrograde, it seems to be going backwards, but it becomes more difficult to communicate. In your case, Aries, you're going to feel a little bit of disconnection between what it is you really want. And that's also why it's important not to start these big battles and to fight these big battles, because you don't really know, and you're not really certain of what you're interested in or what you really believe. There's a little bit of fuzziness at the beginning of this new year. Neptune also sextiles the rising sign on the 6th of January. And Neptune and Chiron are both in Pisces in your 12th house of spirituality and doing service to other people. You have a lot of energy that's kind of conflicting here. You've got so much focused on me, but then you also have this desire to help others and to be compassionate for others. That energy sextiles the rising in Taurus. So on the 6th, if you want to feel good, if you want to feel at ease, take some practical action by helping another person. Help your friend move, or do some charity work, or meditate. Do something physical, practical, that will really tone things down a little bit, because right now the energy is very, very intense at the beginning of January for you. Okay, on the 8th of January, Jupiter and the North Node, they are conjunct in your 6th house. And that bodes very, very well for you in terms of work. Jupiter is the lucky planet. And in Virgo, it means when you take practical action, you get to where you want to go. The North Node is your soul desire. Also in the sign of Virgo, you're really working towards what you want to achieve. They square the moon, which is right on top of your chart in Sagittarius there. And it's faith that you're going in the right direction. It's faith that things will get better, that you're reaching the ultimate goal. And you feel very good about things because you're working towards them. Okay? So steady wins the race. Easy does it. Just show up every day and you will get to where you want to go. Especially the 8th, you'll make a lot of progress on some project specifically, or that you will feel that sense of I'm going in the right direction here more profoundly than usual. But things are good in that sense of your life. On the 9th, Mercury goes into Capricorn, and because it's retrograding, it goes back into your 10th house. So everything is now in your 10th house of career. Mercury, the Sun, Midheaven, Pluto, and the Moon. That is your biggest area of focus. You want to achieve. I personally would advise you that anything that distracts you from making progress in your working life, just put that to the side for now and make the most of this energy. You know, you're seeing your job differently. You're seeing yourself in the job differently. Do everything you can to perfect that. And when there are certain periods like this of uncertainty, when you don't really know, do I like this, do I not like this, it opens things up really broadly, and you can really make significant fundamental changes to your career. Engage with that process, it will really serve you. Pluto and the Sun straddle the midheaven as well. So the midheaven is the angle of work. On one side is your identity, on the other side is change. Do I stay, do I go? That's really the question. On the 10th of January, the new moon occurs, and the new moon is when the moon is completely black and it pulls in new energy. It pulls in Capricorn energy, which is the sign of the worker, in your 10th house of career. You are going to be like a race car just spinning its wheels, getting really ready to shoot off. Set some intentions, plant some seeds here on the 10th of January and set yourself some goals. There's no way that you won't attain those. You're full of energy, you're full of work energy and desire. That is the strongest energy that's with you through until the 13th of January when a grand trine appears in the chart. A grand trine is an area of real talent and ease. That's between your rising sign in Taurus, your Jupiter, lucky Jupiter and North Node there in the 6th house, and then all of this energy in the 10th that I've touched on. You're really going to be feeling very lucky on the 13th, and the practical action that you take has a very good impact on the security you enjoy within the job you've got, or you see some financial benefit as a result of the actions you take on the 13th. Whether you make a big sale, or whether you get a dividend, or you sell some stock, whatever, you will see a financial plus. On the 15th, and remember, the T-square I just mentioned, that appears, not the T-square, the grand trine I just mentioned, that lasts until the 21st of January. So from the 13th until the 21st. Now on the 15th, amidst all of this energy, a T-square does appear. And that appears between your Chiron and your Jupiter, and it peaks with Venus in your 9th house. So you're going to be feeling very much like you're making up for lost time, you're making up for past disappointments, that your job is so thriving and going so well that you're really amending the past in a way. And I really feel that you'll be in love with where you're going. You're really stable and secure and now certain about what you're doing. So the doubt of the beginning of the month is now gone and you're really into what you're doing. So enjoy that certainty, you know. Certainty is something that's priceless and that can energize you so much and help you move forward. Saturn is in Sagittarius there in that 9th house, and Saturn scrutinizes. It's the thing that is sometimes more difficult. You're testing your faith, you're testing the path that you're walking. So amidst all of this, you will feel so good if you're actually pleased with what you're doing and you can trust that it's the right thing. Saturn is a really hard taskmaster to please. On the 17th of January, Mars opposes the Moon. The Moon is in your 2nd house of finance. Again, I think you'll feel very much at ease in your financial life. But again, there's that push for more. I want more, I want things to change, I want them to be better. Again, don't bite off more than you can chew. Be grateful for the good things that you've got in your life. And don't overextend yourself. A kite appears on the 18th of January, and a kite is a wonderful, in the chart it's a grand trine and 2 sextiles on top of the trine, which makes a kite. But in terms of real life, it's a real symbol of hope and things taking flight and taking off for you. Same thing with the astrology. As a result of your positive, secure feelings, dreaming the dream of what your job can become, asking the tough questions, you will notice that on the 18th, something really takes flight, something takes off for you in your life, in your working life, that you will be very, very pleased with. So that looks exceptional. And this looks like the best day for you so far in terms of career and money. Wow, that's wonderful. On the 20th of January, there's another T-square in the chart. It's between the Moon and Saturn this time. And that culminates in your Chiron in your 12th house. So there's a lot about the past going on here. Right now it's about I feel comfortable with what I'm doing, I'm communicating with myself, I'm clear on what I'm doing, I'm very steady and secure and structured on my journey. And through all of that, you will kind of get blips and kind of thoughts coming up that will validate how well you're doing. So maybe, 10 years ago you struggled with your career. As you're doing this every day, as you're putting the effort in every day here, you may be reminded of how far you've come. And that's really wonderful because that puts you in a place of gratitude, of real appreciation of what you're doing, and it gives you the energy to do even more in the present. So you're being kind of supported here and you're being kind of guided and reminded very gently of how good this is and to please appreciate it. The Sun goes into Aquarius on the 21st of January, so it's now the season for the Aquarians here. And that's in your 11th house. That also rules the 11th house, so the sun is very positive here, and it brings new innovation to you. It brings a sense of detoxing from negativity, and it brings you a sense of speeding up and moving more quickly towards your goal, and things are happening even faster. Another great positive, a new grand trine appears the day after on the 22nd of January, and this one is in water. Mars in the 8th, Chiron and Neptune in the 12th, and your moon in Cancer in the 4th. This is the best day to connect with family members and to have a wonderful day with family members. To just enjoy, to relax. It's been a really hectic month for you so far. Just take some time off on the 22nd and enjoy the company of those nearest to you. Venus goes into Capricorn on the 24th. And now, not only do you work well and you feel like you're walking your path, but you love what you're doing. And love in itself becomes very grounded and very practical. And you can see the good results in your life. Everything that's going on seems to be right there. You can look at it, you can see it. And your work transforms even more into something that you genuinely care about. That's an expression of your love of who you are. You really enjoy that. I mean, it sounds too good to be true almost, but I get for you, Aries, that this is a month of really feeling completely aligned with your work as a result of the questions that you asked earlier on in the month. Also on this 24th of January is the full moon in Leo, and that happens in your 5th house of romance. So the Aquarius sun shines its light onto the surface of the moon there, hits it completely, lights it up, and the moon showers that Leo energy onto the globe, onto planet Earth. And Leo is warm, it's enthusiastic, it's fiery, it's passionate, it's caring, it's nice. That in your 5th house of romance means that there's a culmination, a flowering of romantic feelings in your life. So if you're single, it's a great day to connect with someone and to see that spark of romance, of love appearing. If you're with someone, it's a great time to spend with the other person. It's like Valentine's Day comes early for you this year. And romance and love-wise, this is the best day for you in January, the 24th of January. A T-square appears 2 days later, and that's between Neptune, the moon, and your rising sign in Gemini. A dream comes true in your close proximity. So either in your home with your neighbors, something is resolved, with a sibling, something is resolved, or you discover something new that you have an intellectual relationship with. A new TV show that you love, a new book that you're reading, something trivial that you have an emotional connection with. Maybe you discover a new path in terms of learning, a new educational kind of area that you become interested in. Something that has been an issue or that's been stagnant for a while becomes resolved on the 26th. On the 27th, the moon conjuncts Jupiter and the North Node, both of which are sitting in your 6th house of daily routine. You feel completely at ease with your work now. It's been a great month anyway, but you feel very, very comfortable with that, completely at peace, and you could stay at work all day. If you're retired, if you're a student, this applies to you as well. If you're a student, you feel completely aligned with your studies, you feel completely teachable, like you can take on what's happening. If you're retired, whatever you're working on, whether it's if you're traveling or gardening or painting or dog walking, whatever it is you're doing, you feel completely at peace and fulfilled by what it is you're doing. A grand trine appears on the 29th. So many grand trines this month, it's amazing. And this one is in air. This connects your sun and your midheaven now in the 11th, your moon in Libra in the 7th, and your ascendant in Gemini in the 3rd. A real sense of ease about where you are in your life and what you're seeing moving on and what you're seeing with relationships. You have a premonition, or you have that foresight that you need to move on with your life and to realize your working hopes and dreams. Also, your relationships to a lesser extent, but you have complete oversight of what's going on in your life, and it becomes crystal clear, and it tells you the next right step to take. So on the 29th, you will be given the guidance this is the next step, this is the next action that takes you forward into January, and you'll feel completely aligned with that. It's wonderful. On the 31st of January, the moon conjuncts Mars, and that's in your 8th house. So again, here there will be a desire to take on something outside of yourself, and there will be a sense of frustration and irritability. Again, be wise about the battles you choose. Look at that and possibly channel the Mars energy through your feelings. Maybe focus on romance instead, and really, or do something that's quite intense. Maybe go to the gym and punch a bag or something, or have a really hard workout session, just to diffuse that kind of really powerful Mars energy, so that you don't, complicate your life needlessly. So that's your forecast for January 2016. I hope you found that useful. If you'd like a private reading with me about your career or your love life or family, spirituality, anything you're not clear on, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab and you'll see the types of readings that I offer: astrology, tarot, and numerology. Remember to subscribe to the channel, because subscribing actually helps these videos to show up for other people who aren't subscribed. And if you'd like to Facebook me, I'm there under the name Gregory Scott 444. Have a wonderful January, and I will speak to you soon.